Hi, my name is Linda, and in this video I'm going to be talking about why ENFPs love INTJs. Okay, so if you're an MBTI buff, you'd know that the ENFP and INTJ pairing is a highly touted one. There's a lot of information about why they're attracted to each other, and you see a lot of you see this pairing a lot in popular culture, such as anime. There's like especially a lot of ENFP female characters, and then usually always dealing with like an INTJ counterpart. You see this pairing a lot in like gaming as well. Sorry if I get breathless. I just kind of get really excited and I just like talk without breathing. Okay, what was I talking about? Okay, yes. You also see it a lot in gaming. In Final Fantasy VIII is a good example. So Renoa is an ENFP and Squall is an INTJ. Also, a lot of INFJs have number 8 of the Final Fantasy franchise as their favorite, which I find really interesting. But we'll be talking about INFJs in a different video, not this one. So, yes. So why? Oh, and another thing that I wanted to point out is that I'm going to be talking about INTJs. When I talk about INTJs, I'm largely talking about male INTJs, because most of the INTJs I know are male. So I'm just gonna put it out there in case they're not that consistent with like their female counterpart. Because I know like female ENFPs and male ENFPs can be quite different too. Same with like any other type, like the male and the female counterpart. They're quite different within the same personality type, which is also another interesting thing. And it's also pretty like it's expected, right? But anyways, that's a different topic, different video, stay on topic. Okay, so I have notes to keep me on track because I am, as you've seen, susceptible of getting off topic. So hopefully this works out. Okay, so why ENFPs love INTJs. So first thing I wanted to point out is that I've noticed that a lot of guys mistype themselves as INTJ. And I don't know what the deal is, but there are a lot of men who are so adamant, like non-INTJ men who are so adamant that they're INTJ. And I guess like they've just like idolized this personality type, but this like introverted mastermind who's capable of evil, like the stereotype. And I just think like, I just find it kind of interesting how a lot of men mistype themselves as INTJ, but not women. So if you don't relate to any of this, you might be a mistyped INTJ. Just putting out there. But as an ENFP, I can spot a true INTJ. I've got an eye for NI-DOMs. And I know that sounds really creepy, but it doesn't change the fact that it's true. So let's get on with the video. I'm yapping on. Okay, so why we love INTJs. So one thing I wanted to like point out is that INTJs, like they've got like, they're like these generally stoic figures, and they've got like this look. I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about with like this INTJ look. It's like this like stare where they make you feel like you're an idiot, but you know that there's so much more depth to them. And as ENFPs, like we kind of find that oddly attractive. Yeah, it's just kind of sexy. And yes, so that's one thing we really like about INTJs. But the big point I want to point out why ENFPs love INTJs is because of their dominant NI. Oh my god, okay. Breathe. Okay, so both ENFPs and INTJs, we have intuition as our first and primary function. And so whenever like I meet an INTJ, there's always like this very quick bond, and then it will just like, we just like start talking, and we can just like go on and talk for hours because we usually connect on that really intuitive level. So, you know, so ENFPs, we have extroverted intuition as our first function. INTJs, they have introverted intuition as their first function. And intuition is all about, you know, like really delving into like the realm of like ideas and theories and concepts. That's where we kind of like thrive. That's where we naturally, that's our default state. But because like they come in opposite directions, we provide different perspectives to like very similar things, and it makes it really exciting, and it's very like easy, and yeah, just like every time I meet an INTJ, it's like I'm gonna have a really interesting conversation. Yes. So that's one big reason why ENFPs love INTJs, because they know that they're going to have a really, really interesting conversation. And as you can tell, ENFPs, we really like to talk and explore ideas, and INTJs are very good partners for that. Number 2, so every INTJ I've ever met or come across or seen, they're all very intelligent. I know it's very stereotypical, but that's what I've noticed so far. And intelligence is a very really wonderful and very highly valued quality to an ENFP. You know, because as I said, like, you know, as dominant intuitives with like intuition as their dominant function, we really love that realm of like living up here rather than in the present, in the physical world. And so to explore someone's mind and their intelligence is really invigorating for ENFPs. And also the INTJs I've met, they're all of them that I've met have are in like they're pursuing like something in the field of science. So I've got 2 INTJ friends who work in like quantum physics, one in AI, so artificial intelligence, and one in biotech, biomedicine, and the rest are all software engineers. And I know this sounds very stereotypical, but as an ENFP, I've always been drawn to the social sciences. And ENFPs, like, we're very curious about people who are different to us, but not only people who are different to us, but excel at things that we value. And so I don't have a preference for, like, you know, I've never been interested in pursuing quantum physics, but I have great interest and high respect for like that field. And so that's another reason why I like INTJs, like fascinating ENFPs, because you're interested in something that we really value but we don't have a preference for. And so you know, you guys are a source of like great and wonderful intellectual information. And so that's another reason why ENFPs love INTJs. I hope all of this is making sense. Number 3, okay, we are I put down in INTJs parent TE, or extroverted thinking. So the reason why ENFPs find an INTJ's parent extroverted thinking very appealing is because they're strong in something that we're weak at. So we have child extroverted thinking, and so I guess it's like a subconscious like attraction, where it's like being attracted to someone who's good at something that you're weak at, but something that you really value. So ENFPs, I guess when we're in that the mindset, we can really get things done, but it's a lot harder because we are so overwhelmed generally by all of our ideas and all the things that we want to do. And it's kind of like, how do I process all of these things that I want to do in a very orderly manner and get it done all efficiently? I'll manage, but damn, I'm so overwhelmed. And so to see someone who's just like, this is a really terrible impersonation of an INTJ, but it just like, see them just get things done so efficiently. I know it sounds really weird, but ENFPs find it very like attractive when someone's strong point is like getting things done efficiently. Like, I find that so incredibly like sexy. I know. Like, someone with like a really great body or someone doing things so efficiently, it's like, damn. Getaway body. Come here, efficiency. okay, I hope that wasn't really weird, but I hope that illustrated my point. Number 4. Oh yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, there's stoic, like, you're an idiot face. So the reason why I put this weird point as a reason why ENFPs like INTJs, like INTJs, is because we know how you come across to most people, and what excites us is that we know that there's more to you than people realize, and it excites us to be able to, like, you know, dig through that cold, robotic INTJ exterior, see the big heart underneath. Like, I have this, like, INTJ friend, and before I started talking to him, most of my friends, like, warned me not to, because they were like, don't talk to him, he's, like, weird, he's, like, kind of mean, like, don't bother. And I was like, I do what I want. And then when I started talking to him, I was like, what are my friends talking about? Like, he's so lovely. Like, I can see why they might see that in him, but yep, every INTJ I've ever met has been, like, sure, they've got, like, a really, like, dickhead, no offense, like, exterior sometimes. It's very unapproachable exterior. But once you get to know them, that they're truly lovely people, and they don't, like, play games, and they're just, like, very honest people, very smart and honest people. So that's, I think, another reason why ENFPs love INTJs. And I guess we get kind of like a thrill being able to see, like, the real person underneath that image that everyone else sees. Anyways, oh yeah, so number 5, following on from that point I made earlier, is that there's a big heart underneath. This is what I find really interesting about INTJs, is that unlike, like, feelers, especially like ENFPs, where the emotions are very, like, on the surface, we, like, as you, I don't know if you can tell, that I express myself very readily. I'm not like, hi, you have no idea what I'm thinking. So they don't really show much, but they feel so deeply, and, like, they just have the biggest hearts. And the INTJs that I know, they, like, everyone says they care about their family, but the INTJs that I've met so far really show it. So I've got one INTJ friend, and, like, every weekend he goes and hangs out with, like, his nieces. It's just, like, the sweetest thing. Like, I don't know anyone who, like, you know, tries to, like, because, like, he was, like, looking for a place to stay, and he wanted to make sure that where he lived was close to his nieces, so he could, like, hang out with them regularly. And I've got another INTJ friend who's, like, always there for his, like, mum and dad. Like, even though they don't seem like the most, like, warm and family people, they truly are deep down, especially when they mature. Maybe not, I'm talking about, like, when they mature, like, they become very family devoted and family oriented, even if they've had, like, a very rocky relationship with their family growing up. They become very family devoted as they mature. So that's also another thing that I find really wonderful about INTJs. And as ENFPs, like, we think, you know, it speaks volumes. Yeah, okay, next point. Okay, number 6. So I'm going to be talking about an INTJ's inferior SE, or extroverted sensing. So why did I bring this up? INTJs, as they mature, they dress really well, and I'm going to ascribe that to their inferior sensing, because I guess, like, when you're really not strong in something, when you mature, you really work hard at it, and it really shows, because every INTJ I've ever met dresses really well, unlike some other types, and I'm not going to name them, but I think you guys know who I'm talking about. but like INTJs, like they dress really well, and their style is like really interesting. So their style is like really clean cut. It's like it's always like very, yeah, it's already very clean cut and like a lot of dark colors. So I have like this INTJ friend that I play dodgeball with, and like I like noticed him because so we all have like our own team colors, but he would refuse to wear his team colors. Like he was like on another team, and he would always wear black, like black, everything black. He'd never wear his team colors, and I remember thinking like who is this guy? Why is he always wearing black? And I went up and talked to him. I was like, I have to talk to this guy, and I didn't even like say hi, how are you? None of that. It was just like, why are you always wearing black? And he had a very rational reason as to why he always wore black, which is very INTJ. He was like, feel this material, and it was just like, I was like, you know it. So like but it's like very clean cut, a lot of dark colors, but because of their introverted feeling, they throw in a bunch of like bright colors. So it's very different to an INFJ. They normally don't really wear a lot of bright colors because of FE. But I'll be talking about them in an INFJ video. So INTJs, like they wear a lot of like dark colors, but then suddenly be like this pop of like a bright shirt or like a really pastel colored shirt. Like I've noticed they also really like pastel colors. So I always find that really interesting. So yeah. So that's how the INTJs I've met so far dress. Clean cut, a lot of dark colors, but with like pops of like bright colored shirts or like pastel colored shirts. And yeah. It's like lots of blacks, navies, maroon, and pastels. And then like their favorite color, pop of their favorite color top. It's really interesting. Yeah. Next. Oh yeah, so yeah, you won't see like an INTJ caught dead wearing like something like this. This is just like all colors, all pop. And yeah. And also, like, as I said, they're clean cut, so they wouldn't be caught wearing, like, something really, like, fuzzy or, like, fringy or, you know, it's like, I think I made my point. I'm over explaining. So, then, number 7. Another reason why ENFPs love INTJs is also related to their NIs, their introverted intuition. So, with NI, they see, like, the bigger picture, and that's very appealing to ENFPs because I guess it's like appealing to like all intuitives because we generally like seeing the bigger picture. We're not really big fans of, but especially like ENFPs, I guess, being bogged down by like daily mundane details. It's like, I don't care about what time I wake up, like what I do at 7. Or what I eat for breakfast. I care about the direction of society. Like, you know, that's just like an oversimplification, but yeah, so INTJs, like, they see the bigger picture, and so what's interesting about INTJs, though, like, they see the bigger picture, and then usually have goals that are oriented towards, like, bigger picture things as well, and so even though, like, they look like, they're like these, like, that's a really bad impersonation. Anyways, they seem like they don't really care about people. They actually do, but not care about individuals per se, but more about care about society. And so, and I found like a lot of their goals are to do with like bigger societal goals, rather than just like some types who might just like care more about their status or like how much they'll earn. I'm not saying INTJs like don't care about status or how much they earn, but there's always like a bigger picture, like how does that fit in within like the direction of like society. So yeah, and another interesting point is that they care about the direction of society, but it might be interpreted as evil, because they might be like, overpopulation, blah blah blah. It makes sense for this evil genius in this story to like want to kill all these people, and even though that sounds like really awful, it's still like looking at society as a whole, and caring about like the future of society, even though it might seem like very amoral. They're in terms of like their argument, but one point is like it's still like looking at the bigger picture of like society and not individuals per se. I hope that makes sense. I felt like I was like talking in a loop. Number 8, why ENFPs love INTJs. So their grounded presence. I know I've noticed that there are a lot of comments and threads online where people ask like, oh, do ENFPs find INXJs like boring? And I can see why a lot of people ask that, but just to make things clear, an INTJ's like grounded presence is actually very beautiful to an ENFP, because as you've noticed, my energy is kind of like all over the place, and so when there's someone that grounded, it's just like very comforting to an ENFP. It's like it's just incredibly comforting, because like we know that we're like, and for someone to just be like, we're like, wow, you're not flustered by the storm, this feels good. I don't know, it's kind of like yin and yang, I don't know, but yeah, so it's just actually the opposing energy, and their opposing energy is actually really valued by us. So yeah. Number 9. So this is pretty important. A reason why ENFPs love INTJs is because they can follow our crazy thought patterns. And a lot of you would know that NE is a function where it's kind of like, oh, just getting exhausted, like all the things in my head. So we can personally get overwhelmed by our own dominant function, and to have someone being able to like follow us, like just the power of understanding, is just like, it's a wonderful thing. And I know that sounds really corny, but just the fact that they can follow us, it really allows us to feel safe to be ourselves, because we know how weird we are, and when this fellow person who we know is just as weird, it's just like, I get you. It's like, be my friend forever. And so that's another reason why ENFPs love INTJs. You know, they make very wonderful friends for ENFPs. Yeah, so not only are they like great listeners and they can follow us, they're also interesting and can engage with us at our level. So it's not just like, oh, someone who can listen to us. It's just, oh my God, someone who can listen to us and also engage with us and give back. And it's just a really wonderful dynamic. And I don't know, if you're an INTJ or an ENFP and you've like experienced this dynamic, like please share. Like I personally enjoy it so much. I really value all my INTJ friends, and yeah. Okay, next point. Number 10. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, so why ENFPs love INTJs. So INTJs are naturally skeptical. They're naturally skeptical and judgmental of everyone's ideas. But the most important thing is that they're also open-minded. So the reason why this is a point is because ENFPs, we don't like closed-minded people. Like, anytime like I come across a closed-minded person, it's like, kill me. Because it's kind of like, because we're the kind of people who like exploring different ideas, and if someone's like closed-minded, it's really hard to communicate or enjoy talking to them. And it's also like, oh look, it's a person who's refusing to grow. Like, we don't want to deal with those kind of people. But also, it's also important to be analytical and critical of ideas that we see in the world. And INTJs have the ability to be critical but open-minded at the same time, which is really wonderful. And I can think it's like a really strong basis of why they're such like intellectuals. And this is also another reason why ENFPs love INTJs. So now to the final point as to why ENFPs love INTJs. So I kind of touched on this a bit earlier, but so with INTJs, as I've said, there's so much more to them than meets the eye, and that's very exciting for ENFPs because I feel like, you know, we figure people out pretty quickly, and but with INTJs, they're just so mysterious, and we know that there's so much more to them. There's so much more happening below the surface, beyond the piercing look that they usually give. Can't do it. It's just like this. It's like this piercing look, but it's kind of like not really there. Can't really explain it. It's like piercing but not present. I hope that makes sense. And so, you know, like they're not the most approachable type, but what I find so interesting about INTJs is that despite this, they're one of the most, if you get to know them, they're one of the most open and honest people I've ever met. As ENFPs, like, we just really love their style of communication where it's just like, you know, if you ask them something, they'll answer it like this. There's no like dancing around the question or like any fluff we have to like kind of like just like dig through. It's just like question, answer. It's like, yay! So less stressful for an ENFP. But on another level, not only do we love that, not only do we love how, I guess, open and honest they are, and direct. We know like they're not like this. They're not just like, they won't just open up to just anybody. And so when they open up, like we know this, and we really appreciate it, and we feel very special when they do open up. And I'm like so thankful for my INTJ friendships, and I've been in a serious relationship with an INTJ, and so I kind of want to claim that I know what I'm talking about, but I'm not arrogant enough to say it with confidence. So so yeah, we feel very privileged to see like a side of them that they normally don't share with just anyone. And yeah, I think ENFPs, we just have like this really, I was gonna say quiet joy, but it's a really quiet joy with an ENFP. Like, we just have like a fascination with people who have more to them than meets the eye. It's just like, we just want to go and be like, hey, who are you? What is below this exterior that you present to the world? Tell me, I want to know everything about you. I want to be your friend. So I think that's why like INTJs are kind of like magnets to ENFPs, which is like, oh, that's an INTJ right there. Come to me. I'm being a bit creepy now. I hope this isn't scaring off like INTJs who are like, I once read that I'm very well matched with ENFPs. Let's see what they're like. Oh my god, this linear girl is crazy. Never hang out with an ENFP again. I hope that isn't going to happen. I hope this video isn't going to cause that to happen, because I feel like the connection between an ENFP and an INTJ is just so wonderful. Oh god. Surely I'm not that scary. I don't know. I think I've been talking too much, so I'm gonna wrap this video up, and hopefully this highlights why ENFPs love INTJs. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me, like just like comment below, and I'll be happy to like answer and help anyone out. And yeah, bye.